Alright, there we go. Game number 2 between Topo Kuchem and Vikingos Nomaras is gonna be here, and that means that, of course, the king is gonna be right now moving outside of his base. He's of course gonna be trying to see if there's something to scout, potentially like the boars and whatnot, and it's gonna be pretty much the same for all of them, so yep, let's just check what the civilizations and whatnot are going to be. Well then, for the ends, the home map team is gonna be Chinese, Mayans and Spanish, definitely makes sense. As for the opponents, it's gonna be Damelbayans and Goth. Huh. So I'm kinda thinking this might be double sling into Goth. It's kinda strange. Kinda strange combination, to be honest. Mayans and Goth, I'm not entirely certain I understand that logic. But the Goth is of course gonna be quite a significant issue to both Mayan and Chile, or rather Chinese. So of course we're gonna be waiting. Ah, well, that's a nice king. Definitely one of the people. Just holding the door open so that so that the working folk can actually continue in their work. That was nice. But well, at any rate, let's look a bit around. How's it gonna be looking, for example, with the flank and whatnot? And the flank is gonna be apparently Nerevar in here, who is gonna be playing the Mayans, and he's gonna be moving, or rather playing against Dark Knight, who is a Chinese. So take your pick, who is potentially gonna be better, but I kinda don't like actually the positioning of the base of Dark Knight, who is having both the stone. Well, that's a horrible position, that's gonna be very hard to gather from, and the gold as well, so it's definitely gonna be quite wide open to some kind of abuse, like dropping a castle, or just being basically targeted by some kind of archers and whatnot. This is gonna be hard for him, and well, of course, he will have to maybe rely on the back gold that he's having, luckily for him, and the second one as well, so basically both of them could be quite helpful in the long run. Otherwise, I can also see a bit of stone at the bottom that is just now being scouted by Heimdall's king, who is also running around trying to scout and see what's going to happen on the map. As otherwise, of course, the big gold mine, two of them, well, almost three, are also in the front for True Nerevar. So it's really looking kind of similar for both of these teams, for both of clans. For both True Nerevar and Dark Knight, they're having the strong gold in the front, and it potentially could be issue for both of them. Most definitely in there. Otherwise, of course, in the pocket, it's gonna be the Goth. Not really ideal. They probably were hoping that the Goth is gonna be at least on one flank in there, but they were definitely hoping also for one of the Mayans, and that just had to happen, didn't it? When you have in 2 in 3. Anyway, the castle is supremely protective, of course, for him. At the same time, it's kinda not bad to be having the Goth in the pocket, because, of course, he cannot wall, which basically means that he can use, and he's actually in a pretty deep pocket in there, he can use the help of his teammates to somehow produce the wall from about here, all the way here. This is actually quite nice for them to wall up. It's not really all that difficult, considering all kinds of spawns that this map could have gone through. So not really bad at all, as you're gonna be also moving on to the other flank. That is gonna be Dark Mortius as the yellow player, having the castle at the back, the gold in the front as well, ×2 apparently in here as well, with the stone ×2 in there in the top corner. Not really that problematic, but definitely could have been slightly better if he wanted some better map, of course. Well, yeah, I don't really think it's that tragic for him, as it is, for example, difficult right at the top for Dark Knight. His opponent is gonna be at the bottom Mio, so that's gonna be... Is it actually gonna be the same as last game? I think so. Yeah. Now, fairly certain it is that Mortius was also playing against Mion. You can see that he has already lost a unit in there. And the unit is actually what? 22, 22, 23. It probably wasn't a villager. So it was probably an Inigo warrior trying to reborn or whatnot, I would be expecting. And it really looks like purple. It's either purple or red, so I'm gonna be guessing that it's purple. That he actually lost his scout. Not really all that ideal. He still can scout, of course, with the king, but yeah, well, it's not like it's gonna be helping him all that much. But otherwise, he's, of course, already in the feudal age, as everybody is advancing as fast as possible, with all the economical advantages that you're having on Fortress, and of course with the barracks there as well. It's always gonna be helpful. At the back, there's gonna be extra gold for Heimdall, who is in the pocket as the Spanish player. Definitely nice position for a Spanish player to be at on Regicide Fortress, as he's having gold in the front as well, but for him, as a pocket player, it doesn't really play all that much of a role. Nothing really all that interesting for him, and rather bad for his gameplay overall. Otherwise, some extra stone and gold, definitely useful for him, as he can be also easily walling it up. And kinda curious how actually the traits are gonna be. Kinda natural ones are gonna be 4 of Vikingos Novaras from about here all the way to the bottom, because they are having the 2 players on the right flank. So they could be even thinking about already starting walling from about here to here and all the way here. Yeah, it's gonna be then completely safe from any kind of raiding, unless they of course gonna be breached. But that's just Of course, go figure. And for the opponents, it's gonna be maybe just a bit harder, because looking how it is spawned, or rather harder, it's kind of similar, it seems like, because they are gonna be trade from about here as well, all the way through bottom. Yeah, this is kind of sucky. There are gonna be inefficient trade cards in there. Ah well, hey Blitz, hope you're gonna be enjoying some Age of Empires with us tonight, as you're unfortunately not having any Age of Mythology, but well, the Age of Empires is definitely high quality this evening, so yep, hopefully it's gonna be some good games for you to enjoy. To finish my thought with the trade, it's always gonna be kinda difficult, because of course when you... Oh, this is interesting villager movement in there, as apparently Red has lost this Eagle Warrior, not really all that great, but finally, to finish my thought, even though, rather, if they're gonna be having trade in there, and they're gonna be walling from about here, and so, this is definitely very close to green base, so green will be having quite an interesting and fairly easy way to actually disrupt the trade of the opponent team, and basically the same could be said for Dark Mortius, because he's very close potentially to wall that is gonna be coming about here from the opponents to protect their own trade, and in that case, of course, it's gonna be fairly easy for him as well, basically the same as at the top, so the trade... And maybe who is actually gonna be a bit more efficient in destroying the enemy trade is gonna be deciding the victor of this game. Apparently Fred has already switched through top, and he's gonna be helping his teammate through Nerevar to actually fight against the opponents in there. Okay, so that's gonna be what he's gonna do, as green is already working on some nice walling, and they should be already thinking about hiding the kings of course. At the top, yeah, there was an attempt actually a siege workshop already from actually the red player. Interesting. It seems that it might be finished, even though one of those villages died, the second probably will not, as I don't really see all that much of an army that could be preventing that at this point. And I would be really expecting there's already some kind of sling going on, definitely is. From Dark Mortius from yellow player into Fred, and well, into Goth, it definitely makes sense to play it like this. In the meantime, of course, the second row of walls is coming up from yellow, which is gonna be given up to Mio and the ends altogether. That, of course, Dark Mortius is slinging, and he just wants to protect himself as much as possible, which should be basically giving the idea to Mio to either attack him fast, like really fast. Yeah, definitely gonna be needing assistance from Heimdall in here at the top Dark Knight, or they need to start slinging as well. So far I'm thinking the reaction will be basically with plenty of assistance from Heimdall. Let's see if it's gonna be enough or not, because of course with all the archers already being present, even though he has finished with the walling quite alright, it's right next to the wall of the map as well, it seems they're gonna be fairly easy to breach here, and this sling might be really quite powerful by TKs, and it might be just a bit of a surprise for the ends, which is kind of surprising all things considered, because they did sling in the first game, so they definitely could have expected this from their opponents, basically to learn by their example, and it's a bit surprising, to be honest. A bit surprising indeed that they seemingly are so caught off guard by this so far. So we're having a bit of a pause. I'm just gonna quickly check if maybe there was something more going on or not. Apparently everybody's still in the game, so it seems to be everything in order. We can just basically look around what's going to happen. Loom, bowsaw, and whatnot coming up, as of course purple is all around yellow, trying to basically find a way in with all the plumed archers. And it's not gonna be really that hard, because they do have castles, all of them, so basically all he needs to produce are gonna be just a few siege from anybody, or rather from anywhere, and he's gonna be reasonably fine. Alright, so here we go, we continue with the game, as Huskarls are definitely coming up in numbers, in quite significant numbers, and still, even though he won't be needing the castle for anything all that much, he needs it at least once, because he needs conscription, and he also needs the extra, of course, unique technology. But since he doesn't really need to produce the castle, it's gonna be fairly easy for the Goth to actually be quite a big threat to all the archer civilizations on the other team. In the meantime, definitely nicely played by Fred, because he's already recognizing that he will need to protect the slinging player. Definitely makes plenty of sense, so he needs at least a few units in there. But in the middle, of course, the Conquistadors, they're gonna be dealing with the Huskarls, I'm thinking without all that much of an issue. But this is definitely getting a bit scary, and it will be requiring all kinds of good shots. And well, kinda careful in there. Yeah, just now locking it. He almost let the enemy in, and that would have been an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster for Vikingos Nomaras. In the meantime, of course, these units are just getting ready to somehow breach the walls or whatnot, and this is exactly gonna be the issue right now for green, because the gold is gonna be more or less not in his power, because he can basically, rather the opponent, is gonna be occupying this part of the map fairly easily. And even though there are a few Chukons, like literally few, it's definitely not enough at all. And this is gonna be all about the micro battle and basically getting rid of the siege fast enough as petards, hello, and even even letting the base be. Oh yeah, this is just too easy. This is just too easy right about now. For true Nerevar. Oh man, Heimdall and Dark Knight rather. Oh, that just wasn't great, but this quick rolling is actually quite nice. This is not really bad at all, but is it gonna be standing? Not really, because of course all the units are already present, and this quick rolling is just gonna be maybe a quick or a bit too slow. Oh well, he's gonna be sacrificing the villager, but still, the walling is coming up. It's kind of question for how long actually, because of course, this is not really that foolproof, and the king maybe wanting to move from this position where he's sitting somewhere else, because the game is not really going for him all that well, and for all the ends. So far, really well played by TKs, really well played, and they would deserve some kind of reward for that kind of approach. Let's see if it's gonna be coming or not, because so far, of course, blue is gonna be coming forward, but at the end of the pause, are we like... I'm probably having some kind of lag issues, I'm thinking at this point. Because I don't really see a reason for all that many pauses and whatnot. They're still in the game, so not really sure what's going on in there. But well, this is gonna be of course help, as he's gonna be getting rid of the Mangorel, which is a bit of a problem in there. But with the Slung Goth producing all that many Huskarls, that is a significant issue for Dark Knight, of course. In the meantime, how's it looking actually with purple? I don't really see him anywhere. You can see just a bit of scouting by blue, and yellow is still very much safe inside his base. Purple is having just a few plumed archers inside. And finally, oh well, hello. Finally also having some kind of petards to push through into the enemy base. This is exactly what is needed. And it's gonna be all about... Oh, well, that was a shame about the petard in there. But this is basically right now going to be about TKs being fast enough. Because, of course, VNs, especially Mio, could be also faster than them. And if he deletes Dark Mortius before Dark Knight is somehow significantly killed, then the Sling is gonna be stopping, and this kind of army is not gonna be just enough. Because, of course, you mustn't forget that Heimdall is playing a normal game, and he should be having not all that many problems in the long run for himself. So, that was a breach. Mio? What did you do? Why the hell did you delete the extra wall? And why didn't you go through there? What the hell? Apparently they saved for some reason, but... like, why? Why would you do this? I mean, like, he knew what's going on in there. Or I at least think that he knew. Wow, maybe he didn't. He just basically saw a bit later, but still. If he actually fell for that, well, congratulations, Darth Mortius. You fooled an expert player right there, quite significantly, and in such a significant way. Because these archers should have been already in the base, they're not. Well, that's not really all that great for them, of course, as we're also gonna be seeing Fred moving forward to the bottom to help his teammate, as apparently Dark Knight is gonna be surviving this moment in the game. But with all the army coming to the bottom, it's kinda probably looking like a total switch of TK strategy. But in the meantime, they have saved, and, well, Imperial Age coming for Fred as well. And we look at the achievements and then wait for the restore, as they are already restoring. Okay, so that's gonna be Heimdall with the highest score in the pocket. He's doing well. But since he's having even higher score than Fred, who is slung, that is actually quite a good achievement by Blue. And that basically tells us that Heimdall will be quite a bigger problem than TKs might even think right now. Yeah, this is actually kinda wrong. This should be the other way around if you are slung. Anyway, let's quickly go, as they are already trickling down with the spectator delay. Okay, let's go out. There we go, we're continuing. Just a bit of a pause of 2 minutes basically, and we're gonna be moving right where we ended, which means that basically green has been able to somehow defend. You can see that unfortunately they're not really switching fully to the bottom. It seems like that only Just a small regiment is gonna be helping against all those plumed archers. You can see even in the meantime, yellow was able to rebuild the wall, so maybe you can just waste another couple of petards against this wall. That was just kinda sad for me altogether. Yeah, let's see if he's gonna be destroying the same wall, but apparently not. Hopefully, he's not gonna be falling for the same mistake. But with all of those Huskarls already being in place in there, it might be just a bit difficult for him, but still not that crucial, it seems like, as the wall is coming up to protect the gold, and, well, a bit later also the trade, it seems like. At the top, the Huskarls are finally moving also somewhere else, which is gonna be all around the green base, and the green, well, he kinda definitely needs to finish with this wall in faster rather than later, as apparently he would be losing quite a significant portion of his economy, and maybe there's just some kind of push by Fred actually into Heimdall, who is definitely playing really well at this point. And even though he doesn't have all that much of an army, he's definitely booming quite significantly, and that's gonna be a problem for TKs, because have a look at the economy and the villager counts. 72, 74, 53. For the opponents, 46, 31 and 30. So yeah, you can see they're absolutely not prepared for the sling not to work. And if the sling fails, if they're not gonna be winning in the next about 10 minutes, they basically have no chance. They basically won't be having any kind of chance, because of course the economies are just gonna be kicking through, and they will be able to overcome all the potential spam that their opponents might be capable of, because their spam is just gonna be better and supplied by better upgrades and whatnot. So yeah, it's not gonna be working that well. But in the meantime, the Revar is already sending quite recent siege, so they are apparently fully switching into the pocket. It's probably right now gonna be scouted or not? Not certain. Maybe they're just trying to snipe a king there. Yeah, but it's actually the king for blue. Where is the king? Do we see some flex somewhere? We don't. So maybe he's gonna be hidden somewhere with purple actually. Let's switch into Mio. Has he breached the walls yet? No. Apparently not. Scarl still present in there. Let's check into the tower. That's gonna be purple king. And where is the king from blue? Because I don't see him. I don't see any flag on his buildings. I'm slightly confused. Right now he could be just owning in the green base. I'm gonna be looking there in just a moment as we actually analyze the situation inside or rather in front of his base. Not really all that scary yet. It's gonna be getting a bit problematic, so potentially there will be needed some extra help. As Mio is already working on second row of walls, definitely makes plenty of sense, as green will be facing another assault by the opponents. You can see that already those Huskarls will be basically keeping Dark Knight busy. As let's switch into Dark Knight, who is having his... Oh wow, that's a scary position for a king. Front tower for a king, really? Well, that's weird. And I'm still missing the blue king. I'm still not seeing him. I don't really know where he is. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. We're gonna see pretty much soon, I'm hoping, that he might be actually moving in somewhere else. As of course, right now the army is still pushing through, not really getting through anywhere at all. And I just want to find the king. It's almost looking like that he's actually not deposited somewhere. He's just hidden in some kind of corner or whatnot. I'm just trying to find him somewhere. Do you see him somewhere on the screen? Is he right now in the castle back? Because I think he wasn't there. Yeah, right now he's in the castle. Okay, so we have finally found him. Fairly certain he wasn't there. This was a nice shot by the Mangonel. But we know where all the kings are, and we also know that they are quite risky. It's a quite risky position, especially for Dark Knight at the top. But the opponents so far probably are not realizing they could be sniping him. And in that case, of course, they are giving plenty of time to their opponents. And kind of careful here, as the villager is cutting through the forest, and he definitely will be letting quite plenty of army inside the base to ravage the economy. Not great. Not great news for him. Otherwise, VNs are basically leading in the game quite significantly so, because they are having much better economy. You can see 78, 97, 109 for the opponents, 58, 38, 42. The economies are absolutely trash for TKs, because they basically went all in for the sling, so it still makes sense. They still do have a chance to win, but they probably need to sling, or rather kill one of the kings, at least, sooner rather than later, because otherwise it's just not gonna be strong enough for them, and the opponents are just gonna be better. You can see Heimdall right now into Imperial Age, and well, that is gonna be Yeah, significant issue because Mio is in the Imperial Age as well. Dark Knight is gonna be there soon as well. So yeah, the window of opportunity for Tolpui Kuchen is definitely growing ever smaller. And you can see they are just still not able to push through anywhere else. Or rather, absolutely anywhere on the map into the blue player. And blue is already having plenty of horses and already coming for Cavaliers, Plate Bard in armor. And it doesn't seem like that he should be having significant issues with defending against the opponents. Yeah, this is looking quite promising right now for VNs. They probably weathered the storm, and it seems that unfortunately the very brave plan by TKs is not gonna be working in the long run. But, well, of course, they're still not giving up. There still could be some kind of mistake, like ejecting King somewhere into the enemy army or whatnot. But, to be honest, it's not really all that likely. And it should be really decided on the battlefield, as usually. Regicide fortresses are, even though, yeah, it is still Regicide. Well, this is probably gonna be where the king is right about now, so needs to be careful to get rid of all of those Huscarls because before they are any kind of significant threat. You can see that the horses are gonna be joining there as well, with right now switching into Cavaliers with Husbandry for him, and Paladins quite probably very soon as well for him. Alright, in the meantime, Dark Knight continuing with the walling. He just doesn't give a damn. He just doesn't give a damn that there is actually army behind the base, or rather behind the walls. He just gonna finish with it and let them die there. Well, why not? As apparently Mayans are gonna be moving forward right now under Mio's command, with Siege Workshop ×2 and plenty of villages to basically capture this gold, produce the castle, and have an easy way into the yellow base and basically stop him in his tracks altogether. As he's sending some villages into the base of actually Teal, not exactly certain for what. Maybe to start some trading. Maybe not, but well, who kinda knows. But this is interesting hole in the wall. I'm fairly certain actually Dark Knight thought that he actually built the wall properly. Yeah, well, he didn't. There is a hole in the wall that is actually allowing quite interesting movement of units. So far it seems to be working quite wonders for VNs, because they are basically keeping the units behind the wall, trying to get through, but without any kind of effect. So of course all the archers, all those Chukonus are just getting rid of all of those units. Yeah, without any kind of issue. So that seems to be really just kind of unfortunate positioning right now by TKs, as otherwise there's not much moving on in the front, but they did kill the castle through those sneaky trebuchets. Even though the trebuchets are right now gonna be dying through the Mangonel apparently, they still did kill the very important castle, which is a huge blow, of course, for the Chinese, because for producing all those Chukonos, well, he right now has only one castle and already they have been breached. And of course with the Huscarl still in pretty scary numbers, it's not looking that safe anymore. It's not really that safe anymore for VN, so they need to be careful still. And in the meantime, of course, Mio, with producing all the castles, he is definitely ready to absolutely annihilate Dark Mortius, who definitely doesn't have any kind of defense against all of this, and he will need plenty of assistance from Teal. But unfortunately, with the critical mass definitely getting there for the Mayan, it's not looking all that promising for Teal to both be able to fight at top and at the bottom. Yeah, it doesn't seem really all that possible for him, especially with the assistance by the Paladins to beat. You can see the research already coming up for Heimdall. So yeah, this is looking quite problematic for TKs. Still, the Pluntages are very much present, killing villages in pretty decent numbers right now for Heimdall. Not really what he wanted, but he's already at 130, so it's not like he minds all that much. Yeah, he probably doesn't, as they're trying to apparently start the trade already. That's why the walling was coming up, and why the walling is gonna be finished in here as well. So they have dealt with the problem right next to green, as they're gonna be moving apparently all the fights right next to the base of Dark Mortius. So yeah, it seems like the Pluntages are coming a bit forward, and since there is still a wall, or rather hole in the wall, through already the first batch of archers coming forward, it's looking like that actually Yellow is gonna be finally evicted from his base. Yeah, he's not gonna be able to survive there at all, and even though he is moving the villages somewhere else, it's probably gonna be just for a moment, and nothing really all that major. So where's actually the king for Yellow? And Mio is apparently slinging into who I was actually having clicked, I think Dark Knight. Yeah, the king is nowhere to be seen, so he's already gonna be hidden somewhere. Like, for example, in Teal's base, maybe. Maybe also in Red's. Don't know. Can't really find him right about now. But yeah, the king is definitely not gonna be in Yellow base anymore, as the Yellow base is just now being fully conquered. fully conquered basically by the ends, and it's going to be just waiting for the inevitable, as even the raiders have been finally killed by the horses behind the blue's base. As in the front, it seems that green is quite comfortable. He is, yeah, basically not having any kind of attack on him right about now, because all the attention of red is being basically given to the purple player at the bottom together with blue, and it basically means that, yeah, this should be from now on coming basically one way. It doesn't seem like the DKs should be able to basically overcome what they're right now facing, and the stronger economies are gonna be winning the game for VNs, exactly as we said about, I don't know how many minutes, about 15 minutes ago. And well, yep, the economies are just gonna be winning for them quite significantly. So you can see only one with good economy is True Nerevar, but that's just not enough. And just not enough at this point, because otherwise 58 and 52 is not anything that could basically carry you across post-imperial age warfare against opponents that are having double of your economy. You can see 118.94 and 129. That's just a whole different universe, especially with the critical mass and not really using any units. They can just upgrade absolutely everything, and get ready with some extra buildings like all the castles and whatnot. So they are just moving ever forward. Yeah, just making sure that potentially some king is not gonna be fleeing anywhere, but of course he's already not here. He's already not here. Is there gonna be some kind of attempt by red to even push forward? Apparently not. It seems like the opposite. The Dark Knight is actually gonna be exacting his revenge. His revenge on the opponents. And yeah, it's gonna be the one who will be pushing forward with nice upgrades already. Eli Chukonus, full on him, even rocketry. So everything is quite fine for him, even through the Imperial Age coming from True, or rather coming for True Nerevar. So nicely set up Fred in the middle, but unfortunately against all this big might of the opponents, yeah, he's not gonna be standing a chance, and of course, he's just gonna be resulting into full-on switch of all the plume touches and all the purple might into the teal player, and teal right now is gonna be, well, apparently the next in line to be eliminated from the game, or at least his base. Because yellow is still not eliminated, he's still continuing playing, hoping that he can somehow survive, but yeah, it doesn't seem too likely at this point, especially since green is also pushing ever forward, and he does have quite a lot stronger economy than, or rather army than True Nerevar, because Nerevar is just now getting up with the plumed archers in there, having enough castles in his base, about 4 of them. It's not half bad, but he has also run out of gold, and that's usually signaling quite a bad moment in the game once you don't have a trace secured, which is exactly what he doesn't have. So yeah, we are just slowly moving forward, slowly but inevitably, and well, we're just basically gonna be waiting probably for some kind of one big battle for True Nerevar, and then that's gonna be kinda it. If it's even gonna be coming to that, because of course even the Plumtaches are apparently right now interested in destroying the wall just through sheer power of all of their arrows. So they are through into Fred's base, and Fred's villagers can prepare for some difficult times. Difficult times indeed. So this is the Yellow King. Oh, well, careful. Careful. Oh, he cannot actually escape this way. He's actually, that is not cut through. Yeah, he's gonna be just basically in a problematic situation. They are in a complete and utter trap. Yeah, and they're not moving anywhere from there. So basically, all guys moving on their prey. So that's one defeated. It's gonna be also teal defeated as well, and it's gonna be the last one standing. It's gonna be red, who is having one big shootout between the plumed archers and the Chukonus, and of course a few extra tanks in there. And well, where is this king? Not entirely certain. He's gonna be somewhere in here probably, but yeah, that's gonna be it. And a GG, and nicely played by VNs, but also nicely played by TKs. That was a very brave attempt at the start, but unfortunately they weren't able to actually turn it into victory, into some kind of significant advantage. And then the stronger economies, the slower pace of VNs paid off, and they were able to overcome them in the long run. So nicely played by both teams, engaging games, both of them. But yeah, there could be only one victor, and today it's Vikingos Nomadas, who have basically secured the playoff participation with this win. There shouldn't be anything that will be putting them out of playoffs, so congratulations on that. And well, TKs are not sure, but maybe there could be still some kind of chance for them, but I'm not really certain. I don't really think so, because top 2 advance from the division with 4 best third places out of all 6 divisions. So maybe from a 3rd position you could still advance, but I don't think that's really gonna be happening from TKs this season. So, yeah. That's that for them. But you could also check by typing in the chat !AoC. It would be giving you a link for the standings, and you could be seeing how it's looking in division number 4. So Viet Mio high score. Well, Dark Knight's defense was a whole lot more important. A whole lot more important, and Heimdall, of course, as well. But yeah, good team play by VNs. Everything, rather everyone, played quite competently on their side. Yeah, quite a lot of slinging by TKs, but unfortunately this time it didn't lead to victory, as it did in the last game, even though it has to be said the last game wasn't won by the sling into VN, or rather from VN, because TKs countered that very properly and very well. So it helped, but I don't really think it was the winning condition for them. I really don't think so. It was just basically pure skill. Yeah, well, GG.